G'day guys, Christian here from PhoneFox.com, and today I've got the iPad Air 2 here with me. We're going to be doing an unboxing and a review for you guys, and also doing some benchmarking as well, so let's do it. So very familiar packaging here from Apple. We've got the nice photo of the Air 2 on the front there, showing off its slimness, and then the usual stickers and logos around the side of the box. The Air 2 is available right now in 3 different colors. We've got the usual silver and space gray. They've also added a gold version. Okay, so let's get this baby open and see what we have inside. Pricing on the Air 2 will range anywhere between $499 and $829, depending on whether you're going to be going for a Wi-Fi or a cellular version, and also depending on what sort of a memory size you're going to be needing. There she is, guys, the Air 2, and as usual, Apple has done a great job in presentation here. So let's just get this plastic stuff off. Wow. Now, the first thing you notice is that it is just extremely thin. Only 6.1 millimeters thin. How did they do that? That is the thinnest tablet on the market at the moment, and in fact, even thinner than the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. And just for the sake of a comparison, let's grab my old iPad 2, which is 8.8 millimeters thick, I believe. Now, if you look at the two there, it's considerably thinner and it is a lot lighter. I think it's about 200 grams lighter, so you can easily feel that in the hand. So let's pop that aside for now, and we're going to get back to it, so don't worry. Let's just see what else comes in the box. Now you get your little envelope thingy here. Obviously, there'll be a couple of Apple stickers in there and some user documentation, which is nothing new to us. Underneath that, you've got your USB lightning charger, which is Apple's fast speed charging cable. And then you've got your charging adapter in there. So that should be it. I'm not going to bother looking any further. There may be some hidden treasure in there, but for the sake of speed, let's get back to the star of the show. And as you can see, it's just a great looking device. It's got a nice metallic finish on the back with the beautiful Apple symbol, which is nice and shiny. And they've actually included the fingerprint sensor or Touch ID on the iPad Air 2, so you can access your lock screen or make purchases with Apple Pay as well. So that's great. The only other major change that you're going to see is that they've removed the orientation lock button from the top right hand side there. It used to be above the volume buttons. On the top of the phone, you've still got the power button or the screen lock button there. So it's finally decided to turn on so we can take a look at the display. And man, instantly it looks really good. We've got a LED backlit IPS LCD, obviously capacitive touchscreen. It feels really good. 9.7 inches in diameter with a resolution of 1536 by 2048 pixels, and we've got 264 ppi, making it a retina display. This is now a fully laminated display, and I've got to tell you, it looks really good. This is the same as what you would see on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. They've also added an anti-reflective coating, and on top of that, in order to get the device so thin, they've got this new thing they called zero gap display, which just basically means that there is no air pocket between the LCD itself and the outside glass of the screen. So they say with all these factors combined, it can reduce the glare of the screen by up to 56%, which is pretty substantial. In terms of performance, you're not going to have any issues here. We've got Apple's new 64-bit A8X chip. Now that's a triple-core 1.5 gigahertz processor. They say it provides 40% faster CPU performance for apps. And there's also claims that the graphics performance are up to 2.5 times faster with the M8 Motion co-processor and also the upgraded 2 gigabytes of RAM. All these factors mean that the iPad Air 2 has excellent gaming performance. It's actually supposed to be on par with console gaming, and in terms of general day-to-day use, you're obviously going to have no issues there. Now, just before we get onto the benchmarking of the Air 2, let's jump on PhoneFox.com and see how the iPad Air 2 fares against the original iPad Air in terms of pure specs. You can see the iPad Air 2 gets an overall score of 7.7 out of 10, which is actually a very good score compared with the original iPad Air, which only got a 6.4 out of 10. The CPU score on the iPad Air 2 is sitting a bit low at 5.2 out of 10. Now, keep in mind, this is a purely spec-based score, so because we've got a lot of high-spec devices on the market right now with octa-core, 2 gigahertz processors, etc., it means it's going to push that score down for the iPad Air 2. So because this is a pure spec score, it's not always going to be representative of the actual performance of the CPU, but it's just a great way of comparing devices. As you can see, the camera score is sitting nicely at 8.8 out of 10, and that's in comparison with all the other devices in the database. And the camera recording score is at the top of the database for tablets at the moment. So we've done a quick benchmark test for you guys between the iPad Air 2 and the iPad 2, just so you can see what sort of a performance upgrade you're going to be getting with the Air 2. The iPad 2 took about 4 or 5 times longer to complete the test. As you can see with the scores there, the Air 2 just completely blew the iPad 2 out of the water. So the Air 2 is performing on par with lower end desktops and laptops, which is pretty amazing considering the thickness of the iPad Air 2. Okay, let's take a quick look at the camera application. Like I said, we've got an 8 megapixel camera. It's got all of the features that you'd find on some of the predecessors like HDR, panorama, touch to focus, digital zoom, etc. However, they've now added a burst mode option, which is nice to see. The camera will do 1080p recording at 30 frames per second, which is the same as the iPad Air original. However, they've now added a slow motion video recording option, which does 720p recording at 120 frames per second. On the front of the device, we've got a 1.2 megapixel camera for all those Snapchats and selfies and whatnot. This does 720p at 30 frames per second and also has HDR, etc. In terms of usage, we're meant to be getting about 10 hours battery life out of this device, which is pretty impressive considering the thickness of the device and the lack of space for a battery. The Air 2 LTE supports 20 different LTE bands, which is more than any other tablet on the market currently. However, they have no NFC support on either version, which is a bit of a letdown. The plus side is that they've included an upgrade to the Wi-Fi technology, meaning better connectivity, and they've also added a barometer to the sensors list. So as you can see, guys, the iPad Air 2 really is an excellent device. I love the way that it's designed and I love the way that it functions, although I would have liked to see Apple include some sort of a split screen multitasking function. Seeing as they advertise all of their products around productivity, it would be fitting. Although with the new 2GB of RAM and the upgraded CPU, you are going to see a lot of performance boosts out of this baby, and you can see that on the Geekbench scores. In fact, you'll be hard pressed to find another tablet on the market currently that can outperform the iPad Air 2. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys like this review, and if you want more, hit that subscribe button or hit the like button. And if you want to tell us what you think about the iPad Air 2, jump on phonefox.com and write us a review. We'll see you next time. So as you can see, guys, the iPad Air 2 really is an outstanding device. I love the noise that's in the background right now. All these fucking birds everywhere. Fuck off! Oh, God.